Akash and Kallol, I want to circle back to you and ask you, what are the permanent changes do you see in the customer behavior which could positively impact your businesses? One is this whole rush to digitization. Of course, I mean that is one thing which is no now it's not that we are now that we have opened our eyes to the possibility that there could be a situation that we will all work from home. I don't think we will ever be caught so unaware as we all were when this pandemic started. But apart from that, is there any particular trait or particular customer behavior that you are seeing that is permanently changing and which could positively impact your businesses? So, Kallol, you want to go first?
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Vikas. And interesting perspective which Rakshit and Apul gave regarding the customer. I think it's happening in all industries and across all verticals, which we see in our day-to-day interaction with customers. Having said that, I think from our point of view, two things are happening, which I think are important changes from the mindset point of view. The first is, of course, earlier we had salespeople going and meeting customers, trying to, do a proof of concept of a particular technology or a solution. Now, all that is gone out of the window because you can't go and meet the customer face to face or their IT teams, infrastructure teams, or business leaders also, like the chief digital officer or whatever. Having said that, what's happening is a lot of meetings are happening on Zoom and Microsoft Teams and all these WebExes, which is enabling us to get connected with a lot of senior executives in our customer organizations, because now they can come on Zoom. Now they're not traveling, so time is relatively available. I would say relatively because they have a lot of other tasks to fulfill. And same thing is happening for our executives on the Dell side. For example, it was very difficult to get a senior executive for a meeting with our customers earlier. And now maybe we see that happening on a regular basis that, our senior executives are also available for Zoom meetings and Zoom calls on video with our customers, which are helping us to, fasten the process of decision making at the customer end also. So that's one positive change I would see happening, because even if there is a time lag between our executives wherever they are seated, maybe in Asia Pacific or in Singapore or in the US, we can find a convenient time in the evening for people to convene and have that meeting. So that is a very positive aspect of the entire business cycle which I'm seeing. The second is related to documentation, paperwork, and all that. As I said, you were saying, Vikas, earlier about the Dell supply chain. It's a Harvard case study. Actually, the Dell supply chain is one of the industry's best supply chain related to manufacturing and number of inventory terms we can make, and the, of course, related ecosystem players who come and feed that supply chain. Now, having said that, what's happening now is those digital copies are going straight into the supply chain rather than having physical invoices, physical order copies and all that, which get signed, uploaded, and then goes to the system, which used to take at least a week's time from that manual process to the digital. And now customers are sending digital copies of their invoices or of their orders, which are getting directly fed into the supply chain, as a result of which I think the predictability of sharing the data with our customers as to when the equipment and goods will arrive is enhanced quite a lot, and customers are liking it. So these are two things which I think are important from the current scenario. One is, of course, getting executives on meetings and on calls, and second is the supply chain interfacing with the customer supply chain, I would call it, which is the order procurement and order fulfillment supply chain which the customer has. And these two have, I would say, now moved to a permanency, because even if the pandemic goes away, we can always call customers for a meeting with our senior executives without traveling, that is. People need not travel and ask for those meetings or get into, conference room for those meetings. But that definitely, as Apul rightly said, we are also missing our teams. physical, touch and feel of teams. But that's the new normal we have all, come to accept, and that is something which is going to stay for a considerable amount of time.
Yeah. No, I think very nicely put. We are now interfacing actually with people much more than we earlier did. Earlier, if I had to meet one client in Bangalore, it meant a whole day.
Yeah.
Now it is only a question of 1 hour. So yes, I think it's a fantastic point, and it will bring in a whole lot of velocity to businesses. Akash, your views?
See, well, most of what Kallol said is true for us as well, but I would like to add a couple of more points. One is that I think the customers were aware about the security part of it, the security of the data, and now I think with COVID and the lockdown and a lot of employees accessing all kinds of data on their devices, security is becoming something of really paramount importance. And the good part is that we have solutions called as Knox, which really separates the device into a work area and a play area. So the good part is that on the same device, you could do your personal stuff. On the same device, you have got a work area, which is a container where all the documents are completely secure, which means that if I take a picture which is taken in a personal area, I can't really take it and move it to my work area. Similarly, from any document which comes in my work area, any document, let's say a PPT or a doc that I get on my email, I can't connect it to my Yahoo. It cannot move across. So it's an absolutely secured area. And only way that you can send out the file is that you will have to use your Office email client to send it out. So security is one thing which is becoming very important, and it was important earlier also, but I think with people working from home and remote areas, this is something which is really helping from businesses in terms of the solutions that were there. Customers are able to appreciate those much more now. Similarly, other thing which was happening was that if you look at an organization which is looking at deploying a large number of devices across the country. So we have had a lot of customers who came to us during COVID where they were looking at deploying devices, and they wanted certain policies to be applied to the devices. They wanted a certain apps to be installed. That's where Samsung again had an excellent MDM solution, but that really came into play in this time, and customers could see the real value there, where now we are able to ship the devices as it is to multiple locations across the country. We did that. To multiple employees, we shipped the devices to their homes. And when the employees opened the box, a sealed box from Samsung, so it has not been opened by anyone, they open the box, they take the device out, whether it's a tablet or it's a mobile phone. And as soon as it connects to the internet, the wallpaper, the application username, password if required, all those things were automatically configured. To the extent that anything that customers wanted to configure, they couldn't, everything could be configured remotely. And that was the biggest part in terms of enrollment. So it was a remote enrollment, and remote enrollment of the devices was happening, and any push or updates that needs to be done, that was done. Third thing which also happened was that given what all is happening on our borders, I think what Samsung did was a lot of investments in India. And that is something again which a lot of our customers are looking at, made in India and made for India. In fact, Samsung has been creating products for made for India and for Indian consumers. And that is something again which is very good, where a lot of customers are really appreciative about the made for India, and they're looking for products during such times which are made for India products. So manufactured in India and created for Indian customers. So that is the third piece, which is really a positive outcome. I think that will overall help India build up in terms of the infrastructure or the stuff that we're putting up to become a self-sustenance economy.